Nick's sudden hostility toward Adam is just over the top. Why does he have to act like such a jerk about Sharon? Both of them clearly care about her and her situation, so why does Nick have to go full throttle with his anger? It's so obvious the writers are pushing for Nick to get back together with Sharon, which is fine, but does it really have to come at the expense of all logic? Adam and Nick have been getting along lately, and even working together just fine, so where is this aggression coming from? Adam's got his own drama with Chelsea, and possibly still Sally, not Sharon. I swear, Nick and Victoria are relentless with the way they treat Adam. It's like they never give him a break. And speaking of Sharon, why does everyone treat her like some kind of angel? Everyone wants to help her, even the police. But Daniel? No one lifted a finger to help him. Everyone knew he loved Heather and could never have hurt her. Yet the only ones who bothered to help prove his innocence were Phyllis and Cricket. It's honestly ridiculous, and I'm so over it. As for Sharon, she should be apologizing to her kids, especially Faith, not Nick. If there's any apology to be made, it should be to the ones who truly matter in her life, not to someone who's constantly throwing tantrums over everything. Also, I cannot get enough of how Jack finally took Victor down a peg. Seeing Victor's smug face fall was chef's kiss. Jack finally got one over on him, and it's about time. Victor's not the hero every single time. And seriously, how has Victor not been notified that Jordan and Ian Ward escaped? So much for that tight prison security he's always bragging about. Lastly, what was Jack thinking buying up all the subsidiaries of a company that competes with his own business just to make Diana happy? Yeah, that seems totally smart. Also, what do you think about Audra being with Nick? I think they could make some pretty hot scenes together. But honestly, someone please update Sharon's house. I can't get over how ugly it is. The furniture's been the same since she and Nick first moved in, and nothing matches. It's a total eyesore. Time for a remodel, please. Hey everyone, welcome back to Radiant Serum. I'm Aubrey, and I hope your day is shining bright. Thank you for joining me. Let's jump right into today's video. Thursday spoiler alert. Today, Kyle takes a moment to tell Victor he won't forgive him for what he did to him and his family. Victor, ever the optimist, assures him, "Oh, don't worry, Kyle. You're going to get hurt by Diane again." Classic Victor, right? Then he shifts gears and warns Diane that her family will never be whole again. And just in case Diane didn't catch on, he adds that he always knew she and Jack were faking their relationship. Subtle as a brick, as always. Summer, in her usual humble fashion, is bragging to Claire about how she and Kyle had breakfast together. "I know you and Kyle are getting closer," Claire says with the deadpan delivery we all need in this crazy family drama. Meanwhile, Claire has her own bombshell. She's taking a job at Chancellor, because why not shake things up even more? In a not-so-shocking move, Jack confesses to Nikki that he and Diane have been pretending to fight for months. Talk about real relationship goals, right? He congratulates Nikki on her new job. But of course, he has to add that if she gets stressed, he hopes she won't turn to drinking. Because nothing says support like throwing in a passive-aggressive remark. Victor storms in, seething with anger at the sight of Jack and Nikki together. Someone's not happy. Meanwhile, is Phyllis leaving the show, or is she just having a meltdown so intense that it almost looks like she's about to have a stroke? Honestly, she looked like she might just snap in half. Nick, the self-righteous saint, continues his reign of confusing favoritism. Seriously, 2 women and a child, and yet he somehow manages to choose sides like it's a game of chess. But don't worry, he's showing zero concern for Phyllis. Every person he's ever been involved with is apparently his personal responsibility. He's the protector we never asked for. And speaking of Phyllis, has anyone else noticed that Eric Braden Victor seems to have a weird sore on his forehead? Did he get into a fight with a door, or is he secretly moonlighting as a stunt double? Just wondering because it looks like it might hurt. Hashtag just curious. Phyllis should be grateful to Christine for helping her son, Daniel, get out of this mess. But of course, instead of offering a thank you, she's just throwing shade at Christine. Classy. Also, I'm waiting for Phyllis to finally comment on that truck she saw before it almost hit her. Maybe she won't though. It's easier to just blame Sharon for everything, right? As for Nick and Sharon, I can totally see them getting back together. He's clearly still in love with her. He's practically throwing himself in front of bullets to protect her. Team Skick, baby, my fingers are crossed. Oh, and let's talk about Nick's ongoing aggressive rants toward Adam. Seriously, why can't Adam just show some concern for Sharon? Instead, Nick's playing the role of Victor Jr., ready to go full-on patriarch. Hearing Nick and Adam talk about Sharon just brings us right back to the whole Sally mess. Groundhog Day, anyone? And lastly, Sharon's track record? She's burned down a ranch, stolen a baby, killed a few people, and left Phyllis for dead. No wonder Phyllis is so enraged. If anyone has a right to be mad, it's her. It's been over a year now, and Claire still isn't in the opening credits. Isn't that a little odd? I thought she'd be sticking around as a regular, but maybe bringing Jordan back means Claire was always meant to be a temporary character. Or maybe I'm just overthinking it. What do you think? And speaking of overthinking, why did Nick feel the need to go on a rant at Adam just for asking if Sharon was okay? Seriously, what was that about? Here's what gets me. Nick didn't give a second thought to the things Phyllis would miss if she killed Jeremy Starks, but suddenly he's all concerned about what Sharon will miss if she goes to prison. The kids? Sure, he has 2 with Sharon and 1 with Phyllis. But all Phyllis has to do is shed a tear, and Nick will throw her a pity party too. And Sharon? She was so much more interesting when she was smart and sharp. Now, it's all about poor Sharon, the perennial victim. That storyline was played out 20 years ago. I want to see Sharon take control, figure things out, and actually kick some ass. No more waiting around while the menfolk fix everything for her. Nick really needs to chill. Honestly, he should just let Adam be there for Sharon if that's what he wants to do. I don't condone what Sharon did, but let's be real, Adam and Sharon have a history. So what's the harm in him offering support? Plus, Nick and Sharon aren't even together anymore, so what Adam and Sharon do is really none of his business. I'm here to say it. Isn't Adam one of her ex-husbands too? I've always been Team Adam, and it's honestly infuriating how everyone keeps tearing him down. I used to like Nick, but not anymore. He's totally forgotten about Summer and Phyllis, and now he's obsessed with saving Sharon. I'm so over his I'm the hero act when it comes to her. And don't get me started on Chance. He used to be okay, but now? He won't even give Daniel a fair shot, yet he's pulling strings for Nick when it comes to Sharon. It's beyond ridiculous. And how any judge could allow Sharon's medication to be used as evidence when there's no chain of custody is insane. Nick handed it over. He could have swapped it out with anything. Not even Michael Baldwin could fix that mess. This whole storyline is completely absurd. So Claire doesn't recognize Jordan when she runs into her? Really? After being raised by her, seeing her in every possible disguise, picking up on every little mannerism and shift in body language, Claire just couldn't figure it out? I mean, come on. I would have clocked her immediately. Sure, the hair's different, but everything else, pretty much the same. But hey, I guess when you're not expecting to see someone, especially someone you're pretty sure is locked away in a federal prison, it might take a second to think, oh hey, Aunt Jordan. To be fair, Claire did feel something familiar, so at least there's that. Oh, Sharon definitely didn't kill Heather. But you know, we viewers already have the inside scoop. It's Jordan pulling all the strings here. Sharon? Oh, she may have framed Daniel, but how much of that was really her idea? Let's not forget Jordan and Ian are probably behind most of this mess. Now, after months, maybe even a year, of chaos, Sharon will somehow, miraculously, emerge as the heroine. Yeah, right. Let's be real. Sharon did everything by herself, didn't she? Broke into places 3 times, pushed Heather, dumped the body, plotted to murder Daniel, all on her own. All in a day's work for our misunderstood protagonist. But hey, no worries. They'll just blame it all on the medication, right? Because that's totally the excuse for everything. Oops, sorry, I was on meds that made me frame someone for murder, dispose of a body, and gaslight everyone around me. Classic Sharon move. And look, I'm all for redemption stories. But how can they turn Sharon into a heroine after all this? Sure, maybe she didn't actually kill Heather. But the poison, the body disposal, the fake messages as Heather, framing Daniel? Come on, that's a lot to overlook. Unless, of course, the meds that Ian and Jordan switched out for Sharon are some kind of mind-bending miracle drugs that make her do all this crazy stuff. You know, the whole "I was out of it" excuse. But even then, Sharon's actions, framing Daniel, gaslighting Summer, Phyllis, and Daniel, are too much. So even if we give Ian and Jordan 99.9% of the blame, Sharon framing Daniel basically slams the door on any chance of her being a heroine. Wait, did they just take Claire's V card? So I'm catching up on the latest group chat gossip with the girls and about to dive into today's episode. But hold up, did Claire just straight up tell Kyle she was a virgin, and he just punched that ticket? I need answers here. Is that really what happened? Is anyone else feeling weird about that whole moment? I adore Haley Aaron, but is it just me, or is Claire coming off a little milky toast? Like she's kind of blah in the role, or maybe that's just me projecting. I can't go any deeper into this until I hear back from someone. And I really hope my friend is either completely wrong or just messing with me. I kind of figured Claire would still be a virgin, given her isolated upbringing with Jordan. Anyway, I made everyone rewind to that horrible love scene, because why wouldn't I? Oh, and side note, Kyle 100% deserves a man cave. Why are mansions always decorated like someone's long-dead great-grandmother's living room? But seriously, didn't Claire already tell Victoria that she'd never dated, kissed, or been intimate with anyone? Then, once things started getting more flirty with Kyle, I'm pretty sure she had to sit down with him, saying she wanted things to go slow because, surprise, surprise, she had zero dating experience thanks to her strict upbringing. And let's not forget that time they were making out in his tragically decorated bedroom, and Summer came in like a wrecking ball to ruin it. When Claire left, she even mentioned she wasn't ready to rush things or be pressured. So yeah, I think Kyle definitely knew she was a virgin, and honestly, he was pretty chill about it, which is kinda sweet, right? But like, can we talk about the interior design disaster of that room? On today's show, it was blatantly clear. Phyllis had the phone in her hand, reading the text when she was hit. She even remembered the whole thing, how Michael visited her in the hospital, and how she finally pieced together that it was an SUV, not Sharon's car, that ran her off the road. Now, I'm just waiting to see how long it takes for her to do anything with that information. As for Adam, it's honestly getting pathetic. He's basically become the punching bag of the show. Nick is totally over the top right now. There was absolutely no reason for him to talk down to Adam like that, and then twist it into some nonsense about doing it for his own good. Seriously? Poor Adam. And poor Adam again. Constantly torn between being lavished with attention and opportunities by Victor, who always has his back, while also being poisoned by his own ego, fear, self-indulgence, and a web of lies. He keeps going back to Victor because that's the only place left that will let him in. It's a mess, and honestly, it's just sad for everyone involved. But here's the thing, nobody on this show is all good. Everyone's got their dirt, but they only seem to dig up Adam's and Billy's pasts over and over. The others, they get endless chances for redemption. Adam is clearly concerned about Sharon. How is that a bad thing? It's fine to call Adam out when he deserves it, but don't do it just to feel superior. Nick was just being a total ick in my opinion. And seriously, why is Adam so universally hated? I've never understood it. Sure, Nikki and her kids, yeah, I get their issues with him, even if I don't agree with them. But everyone else, I just don't get it. Lie and R recap. Nick orders Adam to stay away from Sharon, and Christine grills Phyllis. When Adam is told not to do something, you can bet he'll make it his mission to do exactly that. And surprise, surprise, he's not alone in this. Phyllis shares his belief that she's the only one who knows what's best for everyone else. Speaking of Phyllis, she still remembers the truck that hit her. She knows full well it wasn't Sharon's car, but don't expect her to admit she was wrong. That would be too easy, wouldn't it? Meanwhile, Nick plays the hypocrite card to perfection. After all, this is the same Nick who cheated on Sharon with Phyllis, yet now has the audacity to lecture Adam about Sharon. And let's not forget how Nick also got in the way of Adam and Sally. Newsflash, Nick, you're not married to Sharon, so maybe stop trying to dictate who she can and can't have around. Phyllis may know that Sharon's SUV wasn't responsible for running her off the road, but of course, she doesn't care. She's got Sharon's life in her hands now, controlled by her petty, vindictive ego. Lucky for Sharon, Phyllis can either lie or keep quiet. It won't matter. Christine confirmed today that the tire tracks don't match up. Sharon's SUV didn't hit anyone. It was a truck that hit Phyllis. And let's not forget, Nick has no business ordering Adam around. How about letting Sharon make the call about whether or not she wants Adam around? After all, it was Sharon who kept running off every time Adam called, nearly wrecking her marriage to Ray. But of course, poor Sharon always seems to need Nick to swoop in and save the day. So here's the master plan. Jordan and Ian are apparently working their way in from the outside. And by outside, I mean they're starting with the easiest target, Sharon. You know, the weak link in the chain. First, mess with her meds, then hit her with some mind games. Maybe even hypnotize her into believing she actually committed the crimes we all saw her do. Sure, it looked like Sharon was the one doing all the shady stuff, but in the grand reveal, we'll see Jordan and Ian right there with her, whispering in her ear that she did it. Classic sleight of hand. The viewers think they're seeing Sharon, but really it's all a setup. And messing with Sharon, it's just the beginning. Once she's a wreck, it starts the ripple effect. Nick gets distracted, Maria gets hurt, everyone starts unraveling. Then, Jordan and Ian can start moving in on people a little closer to Victor. Slowly but surely, they'll dismantle the entire family tree. By the time they get to Victor, the Newmans will be so messed up they won't know what hit them. And the best part? No one will see it coming. According to Josh Griffith and Sod, the Newmans are the ultimate target, but the real focus is on Mariah and Claire. Looks like it's game on for the whole family. Is Jack going to rename Glissade now? You know, since it used to be Tucker's company? He mentioned it the other day while chatting with Diane about his plans for the companies that were once part of Glissade, and how he wanted to revive some discontinued Jabot products. He even threw out the name Jabot Classic for the new line, and honestly, I'm here for it. It's such a perfect little nod to the past with just the right amount of swagger. I loved it the second I heard it. I often find myself wondering where Victor's obsession with hating Jack really comes from. Sure, Jack was married to Nikki, once, maybe twice, but it goes deeper than that, doesn't it? I can't forget that time when Victor had a heart attack during one of their arguments, and Jack just stepped right over him and left him for dead. Charming, right? Honestly though, I wish the whole thing would just end. I used to enjoy watching them exchange sarcastic barbs while pretending to have civil conversations. It had a kind of fun, twisted charm to it. But now, it's just exhausting. Jack has clearly moved on, grown, and matured while Victor, he's still stuck in the past. Even at 80 years old, he's playing the same petty games, holding grudges like it's his full-time job. It's beyond tiresome at this point. It's time for him to drop the vendetta, don't you think? What's really frustrating is how the writers decided to reignite the feud between these two after they made such progress. I mean, they actually had a civil drink together at Society. Remember that? It felt like real growth, but nope, apparently we needed more of the same tired, ridiculous drama. Victor just can't let go. Jack has long moved past their old rivalries, but Victor? He's still clinging to the same childish grudges, even using the lame excuse that Jack saved Nikki when Victor couldn't. Seriously? And let's not forget how Victor kept liquor out in plain sight for Nikki, tempting her day after day. You'd think he'd be worried about her sobriety, but no. It's almost like he wanted to keep the upper hand by playing his usual games. I'll say it, Victor's jealousy of Jack is glaringly obvious. It goes beyond just Nikki, though. Jack married her, helped raise Nick and Victoria, and those kids still love him and respect him today. Nikki even fell in love with Jack, and that's been gnawing at Victor ever since. That's why he went after Kyle, too. Jack was just trying to help Nikki sober up, but of course, Victor saw it as a chance to punish Jack for getting close to his wife. It's classic Victor, and it's not getting any better. At this point, I can't help but think the writers are out of ideas. Everyone who's ever had a rivalry is back to square one. It's not just Jack and Victor either. Adam's once again the black sheep. Christine and Phyllis are at each other's throats. Sally's in the mix. And don't even get me started on the overacting. Even Esther's getting in on the snark. It's all so stale, so predictable. Today's episode was 45 minutes of my life I'll never get back. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.